Hey there, this is Shruti, and in today's video, I'm sharing my top tips on how to start a blog that actually makes money. The first tip that I have for you is to focus on one niche first. Now, a niche simply means the category in which you blog in. So while it can be tempting to write about everything under the sun, the more niches or categories that you decide to blog about, the harder it is going to be for you to actually stand out in just one particular niche, and the longer it is going to take for you to start making money from your blog. Not only is focusing on one niche a simpler and less complicated strategy to start a blog, it is also something that will help you build your brand and authority in that particular niche faster. Now, if you're focused on 4 different niches and you want to be an authority in travel, in fashion, in beauty, and in lifestyle, it's going to be much harder for you to stand out and actually get your blog discovered versus if you were to just pick one category and double down on that. The next tip that I have for you is to pick the right traffic source. Now, a blog with no visitors or readers is a blog that actually doesn't make any money. The biggest reason why most blogs fail is not because the blogger doesn't work hard or because they give up too easily. It's actually because they don't have enough traffic. This means that if you start focusing on bringing in new visitors and new readers to your blog right from the very beginning, you're going to be able to grow your blog faster and start making money from your blog faster as well. Think of your blog as a modern day version of a newspaper business. Now, typical publishing business will not really be able to generate any money if it has no readers or no viewers coming to its website or even reading its newspapers. The same stands true for your blog as well. Now, there are 2 main sources of traffic that bloggers can focus on at the beginning. The first one is Google, which is a search engine, but the biggest mistake that most bloggers make is that they focus too much on Google and they don't focus on anything else at the beginning of their journey, whereas when it comes to Google, it actually takes a couple of years until they start to show your website in search results, which means if you only rely on Google, it can actually take you a few years before you start to see any decent traffic from it. The second source of traffic that is better suited for newbie bloggers is Pinterest, which is also my favorite source of traffic and how I've been able to grow multiple blogs to over 50,000 monthly page views in a short period of time. Now, the reason why I focus more on Pinterest at the beginning is because you don't need to wait a couple of years before you start to see traffic from this source. And not only this, the way the platform works is that it is designed to get people to click out and go and check out other websites. So Pinterest users are already familiar with the concept of clicking on pins and going to other people's websites. Now, I have a ton of videos on my channel about Pinterest marketing, so make sure to check them out to understand more about how this traffic source actually works. Now, you don't need to pick one traffic source over the other. What I mean by this tip is that you should be focusing on one traffic source at one time and then building and leveraging that. And once you have built and leveraged one particular traffic source, to move on to the next. The next tip that I have for you, which I wish someone told me when I first started out over 4 years ago, is to stop wasting time on multiple social media platforms. Now, as a new blogger who probably doesn't do this full time, time is money. This means your time is best utilized in creating content that your audience wants to read and driving traffic to that particular audience. Now, social media platforms, while they work great as a vanity metric and it feels great to have 10,000 Instagram followers, but the sad truth is that the time you spend in growing multiple social media platforms is the time that you can actually spend on working on your blog's content as well as driving traffic to it. What I've learned from experience is that if you try to be everywhere, then you won't really grow anywhere. Now, the question you should be asking yourself here is, where is my ideal audience hanging out? Are they on Pinterest? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram or TikTok? The key thing to remember here is that you don't own your audience on social media. Tomorrow, if Facebook or Instagram decide to block your account, then you end up losing all of the audience that you spend so much time building there. So the bottom line is this: pick one and only one social media platform to focus on at the beginning until your blog has reached a point where you have more time and you can afford to create content for multiple social media platforms. Moving on, the next tip that I have for you is to create content consistently. Now, the first year of your brand new blog is going to be very, very critical in deciding whether or not you actually end up making money from that blog. So when you're just starting out, you can start by posting once a week, but I would actually recommend you to post a little bit more and post 2 or 3 times a week so that you can get in the habit of writing blog posts as well as driving traffic to them and create a routine around the same. The reason why you need to be creating new content consistently is because at the beginning, you are going to be competing for traffic with websites that have been around for 5, 10, 20 years. This means that your ideal audience has a choice between reading your blog, which has, let's say, 4 articles, versus a blog which has 400 articles on a topic that they're interested in. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to write 500 articles in your first year, but what it does mean is that when you consistently show up and create new content, you start to build an audience that also consistently shows up, reads your blog, buys your products and services, and that is what eventually ends up making money for you in the long run. And not only will creating new content help you attract more people to your blog, but it will also help you improve your writing writing skills, as well as understand exactly what it is that your audience wants. The next tip that I have for you is the one that is going to decide how much money your blog makes, and that is to think like a business owner. Now, it doesn't matter if you want your blog to be a side hustle, or you want it to be your full-time job, or you want it to pay for your whole family. The bottom line is this: every business sells something. Now, traditional bloggers rely on two streams of income when it comes to their blog. One is ad revenue and the other is affiliate revenue. Now, both these streams of income actually require a large amount of traffic to get started with, and if you're just starting out, you probably won't make a lot of money if you limit yourself to only these two income streams. Now, modern day bloggers who think like business owners end up creating their own products and services because they understand that every business sells something. Now, while creating your own product is a bit more challenging and does require you to have more experience, you can absolutely start selling your services from day one. Just list down all of the skill sets that you have which you can offer in exchange for money. You can also use sites like Fiverr and Upwork and use your blog as a portfolio to get new clients. And if you feel like you have nothing to offer in terms of services, you can pitch to a more experienced blogger to work for them for free, maybe as an intern or as an assistant, in exchange for training and experience. Moving on, the next tip that I have for you is to learn SEO, or search engine optimization. Now, search engine optimization is simply the art and science of being discovered on a search engine like Google, Pinterest, or YouTube. You can check out the Moz blog, which has tons of free resources for new bloggers to understand exactly how SEO works and how you can leverage it to start a ranking on Google search and showing up there as well. Now, remember, each search engine has different rules, which means that the rules on Google are not exactly the same as the rules on Pinterest. This is why I told you to commit to just one traffic source first, master that, master the SEO for the traffic source, and then move on to the next. The faster you're able to learn and optimize for SEO, the faster your traffic will grow and the faster your income from your blog will grow as well. The next tip that I have for you is to invest and commit to your blog. Now, every blog that makes money and actually makes a solid amount of money takes time and effort, much like any other business. Just like a regular business doesn't become profitable on day one, a regular blog also doesn't usually start making money on day one. The last blog that I started, it took me about 8 months to make the first $1,000 on the blog, and from month 9 onwards, I started to make $500 a month and more every single month. But if I had given up in the first 8 months of the blog, I would never have reached a point where I was making thousands of dollars a month from one blog alone. Now, there are two things that can fast track your success as a blogger. Number one, investing in your blog. Now, whether it comes to the resources and tools that you invest in your blog, such as getting a self-hosted website, as well as investing in a professional theme, or it comes to the educational resources that you need to learn about your blog, start with whatever you can afford and then move your way up. Just like you can't build a solid business without the right tools and resources, the same way you also can't build a solid blog without the right tools and resources. The faster you can learn what you don't know, the faster you'll be able to see growth on your blog. The second thing that is also critical in fast tracking your success is to commit to your blog for at least 1 year. Now, blogging requires time and effort, but it also requires you to learn many different things. Now, just for an example, I wrote almost 60 or 70 blog posts before I actually started to see any decent money come in. I couldn't have done that in just a month or two, which is why I highly recommend that you give yourself at least 1 year before you finally give up on the whole blogging journey, because that's going to give you enough time to learn and implement what you learn on your blog. Now, it might take you less time or it might take you more time to start making money from your blog, but if you invest in the right resources and show up consistently, you're going to be able to succeed much faster. So that brings us to the end of this video. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Let me know in the comments which blog you're planning to start, as well as how it's going for you and any other questions that you might have related to starting a blog. You can also check out my free blogging launch blueprint in the description box below, where I break down step by step how to start and launch a blog effectively. You can watch these videos next to learn more about blogging. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.